Okay, so today we have a very special class in anticipation and excitement of Chodesh Elul. It's coming Wednesday night. So this is a class about the month of Elul and the constellation of Virgo, Betula. So really, that's August 23rd starting, and that's you. And anybody else? Any other Virgos here? No? Okay. So it will be a very personal class, dedicated with love. My mom's here. So talking about the month of Elul. Elul is an amazing month. It's an exciting month. It's a preparation for Rosh Hashanah, and we're trying to tap into what is the spiritual energy of the month. And as always, so we're going to examine the inspiration that we get from the Sefer Yetzirah, the insights that we get from the Sefer Yetzirah, which is a book which is the first book that we actually have in our tradition, which is a book written by Avraham Avinu, and it gives the secrets of creation and talks about the different energies of the way that the world was created. So in that book, Sefer Yetzirah, so it talks about the months of the year, and it talks that every month has a certain letter that's connected to it and a certain trait that's connected to it, as well as a constellation. I mean, this is actually the source of Jewish astrology, that Judaism believes in astrology. As I like to point out that these a lot of the things that it says in like that you'll read up about astrology, so it's not from Jewish sources. Like the earliest that we find that the sources of astrology, this I think I pointed out in the class about Av, the earliest is in approximately 2,000 years BCE, which actually works out perfectly with the time of Avraham Avinu. So it's actually amazing that the knowledge that we have about astrology, so basically every book just copies the other book. There are these traditions about what are the traits of these certain signs. There's also people that they add just from their friend circles, but there's a certain basic tradition that has been passed on, and the sources of the earliest sources of the character traits of the different signs of the different constellations actually comes from 2nd century BC, which really works out perfectly with the times of Avraham Avinu. And there's an interesting pasuk that it says that Avraham Avinu, so it says that he married a wife named Keturah, and so the Chazal said that was really a reference to Hagar. That he took back Hagar, and it says that he had children from Hagar, and he sent away his children from Bnei Keturah, and he sent them to the east, and he gave them. And it says before he sent them away, he gave them presents. So there's to say that these presents that Abraham gave to the Bnei Keturah before he sent them to the east. So this includes the knowledge of astrology, the knowledge of Eastern medicine, like Chinese medicine, these kinds of things. It was coming from Abraham. It was coming from God. I mean, anything that works has to have a good source, right? So what's the source? The source is from Hashem. How did it get down to this world? It came from Abraham. Abraham gave it to Bnei Keturah. So the concept of constellations, the concept of the astrology, so this is actually something that is part of our tradition, and the Gemara as well. The Gemara talks about the fact that a person is born under a certain sign, so it has an effect on his character traits and has an effect on his life, and it's the thing. And so this is also in the Sefer Yetzirah, and also the Arizal adds that besides having a letter and having a trait and having a constellation, there's also a tribe. There's also a tribe that's connected to every single month. So, talking about the month of Elul, so the month of Elul has to do with the letter Yud. The letter Yud has to do with the trait of Ma'aseh, which is interesting that we call this a trait. Like the past 2 months we talked about Tammuz was Shmi'ah, was hearing, and Av was sight. So those are senses in the 5 senses. sense. But we're in the sense of the 12 senses of the 12 traits of the different months. So there's more than 5, and so ma'aseh, action. So we have to figure out what exactly this is. We call this the kochot hanefesh, the energies of the soul, like the abilities of the soul. And that's what we're talking about. There's a certain ability of the soul which is connected to the month of Elul, which is about ma'aseh, about being action-based, and we'll have to figure out exactly what this means. But I want to make clear that it's not just about doing. It has to be it's a tchuna, it's a sense, it's a quality of the soul that is connected to action. Okay, and that's what we're talking about. And the month of Elul is about being action-based, and the tribe which is connected to the month of Elul is the tribe of Gad. Okay, so Gad is not so much about God. We don't learn about God so much. He's not one of the more popular tribes, and so I have to figure out what exactly is up with that. Okay, so from the beginning. So the first thing that we have to know about the month of Elul is the letter. Okay, the letter is the letter of Yud. And so what do we know about the letter of Yud? So it says that Yud has to do with the world of thought. Now, why is this? So in Hebrew grammar, so if you have a certain shorish, if you have a certain root, and you put a Yud before it, so what does that mean? That makes it future tense. Okay? So when you're talking about future tense, so something that will be, if it will be, then right now it only exists in the world of thought. Okay? So this is a comment of Rashi. That Rashi says in Parshat Beshalach, says that we say it every morning, that Az Yashir Moshe Uvnei Yisrael. Okay, the song that the Jewish people sung after they crossed the Red Sea. So it says Az Yashir Moshe. So the Chazal ask that why does it say Az Yashir Moshe? Why does it say that they will sing? It should have said that they sang. It's the past tense. So Rashi says that Yud Al Shem HaMachshava. That it says Yud, the Yud that's added is a reference to the machshava, is a reference to the thought process that they had. That process is in their singing. So it wasn't just that they were singing; it was that they were planning to sing. They were thinking about the singing. They were like bringing down the ideas of the singing, and that thought process is hinted to in the Yud. Okay, so Yud is about thought, and this is in Kabbalah. This is a pretty like common basic idea that, for example, that in the name of God, Yud Kei Vav Kei, so the Yud and the Vav represent two levels of expression. That the Yud in Yud Kei Vav Kei is a reference to Hashem's thought, and the Vav in Yud Kei Vav Kei is a reference to Hashem's emotions. Okay, so first there's a thought process, and then there's a emotional fleshing out, bringing down, because the emotions are based on, they're a product of our thoughts. Okay, we feel based on our thoughts. So in the Yud of Shem Hashem, so it's a reference to Hashem's thoughts. Okay, this is Hashem's wisdom is in this Yud. Okay, so this is the Yud. The Yud is about the thought process, and the thought process is about the future tense. And because what's the idea of thought? The idea of thought is to plan for the future. Okay? Meaning that the biggest problem with thought is if it stays as a thought. A person that's just caught up in his thoughts and is just like like a philosopher. A philosopher is like a true philosopher is just like a waste of time. It's a waste of like if you're just gonna philosophize and you're not gonna do anything with your thoughts. So like, what's the point? Just do something already. It's so beautiful that you have lots of thoughts. That there's lots of there's the I think it's a true story about Plato, that they found him that that he was after he'd given a whole day about how about morality, about how he'd been teaching the whole day about how to be moral and how to be proper, and how the way that a human being should exist, and how it they found him that he was just doing something completely inappropriate, and he said yeah, no, for a couple of hours I decided to take a break from being a philosopher. If a philosophy that's not going to have a therefore, so it doesn't get anywhere. So the purpose of thinking, the purpose of machshava, is that it should bring to action, bring to ma'aseh. So it says that the thought process, the letter Yud. So it says that the thought process, that Yud is connected to Olam Haba. Okay, there's a pasuk that says, Ki beka Hashem tzar olamim, that the Hashem is the rock of all the worlds. So it says that beka Hashem, what is ka? Yud, K. Yud and Hey. So what's Yud and Hey? That Yud is this world. Yud is the next world, and Hey is this world. Okay, this is connected to the fact, to another comment of Chazal, that they say that ish ve'isha shchina shruya beinehem, that you have a man and woman, so that when they're living in harmony, so then they have Hashem's heavenly presence, divine presence. Okay, so where is that? Where do you see that? So ish and isha are the same letters. They both have an aleph and they both have a shin. What's the difference? That ish has a yud and isha has a hey. Okay? So the yud is connected to Olam Haba, and the hey is connected to Olam Hazeh. Okay? So guys are more connected to the next world. They're more connected to the world of being not so practical, and the idea of thought, the thought process, the spark of inspiration, and women are more practical. The women are more able to bring this into make it grounded. There's a fascinating Gemara that it says that there were two sages that it's not clear if they were married or not married, but they were discussing who needs women. Well, why did Hashem make women? I don't get it. Why did we? So that is. So okay, but that didn't get recorded. Okay, we have to see what you. So he answered. So one rabbi asked the other rabbi, Rabbi, I don't get it. Please explain to me, why do we need girls? So he said. So he said, yeah, I don't know. He said a fascinating thing. He said, listen, we guys, we go to the field and we bring back kernels of wheat. Have you ever tried eating a kernel of wheat? Doesn't taste so good. We go to the field and we bring back cotton. You do anything with cotton? So you bring it to your wife, and your wife, she takes the kernel and she grinds it. She makes it into bread. She makes it into cake. And speaking of which, nobody's touched the stuff yet. So she makes it into watermelon, and so she takes your cotton and she turns the cotton into clothing. So that lo nimtza hey. So that you see that the women, what they do is that they marry Nahum, that they shalom, that they're able to lighten up your eyes and stand you on your feet. Okay, that's what they say. Okay, so what does it mean? What are they talking about? They're talking about we're talking about who needs girls. Who needs girls?
Oh, okay, valid.
No, valid question. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Okay, so the after class you can have a class about who needs guys, but this is a class about who needs girls. So it says that the idea is that the male energy is the potential that you bring, that the guys they bring the kernels, they bring the cotton, and then the women with their energy is to take that and to turn it into food, to turn that to actualize. Okay, this is obviously this is actually like the most obvious in the reproductive system, that the guy provides the seed, and the woman turns the seed into a human being. Okay, that's the feminine energy. And so the yud is the male energy, which is olam haba. Okay, that's the potential, and the feminine energy is the olam hazeh, is this world. Okay, so that's why, like when I teach chatanim, so I tell them, so if you ever have a disagreement with your wife, so if it's anything to do with this life, with this world, so then she's right. Okay, so if it has to do with the other world, so then okay. Like, okay. So your husband is going to decide like where you're going to go after you die. Okay. There's a joke about it. This girl that was talking to her friend at work about the like how she has to deal with her husband, that like one girl was complaining to her friend about how they get into fights about like who's in charge of what, who's in charge of which decision making. So she says, so her friend told her, with us it's very simple, that we have a very simple way of deciding things, that I take care of the less important things, and he takes care of the more important things. So her friend said, like, that sounds interesting. Like what's an example of a less important thing? So she says, like for example, like budgeting, like where we live, like where we send our kids to school, and so okay, that sounds like pretty important things. Like what's an example of like what's your husband to say? No, my husband, he decides like the important things. Like he decides who's going to be the prime minister. He decides like whether or not we're going to go to war to Russia. I let him decide the important decisions in life, and so there is a truth to this joke, that the feminine energy is more connected to olam hazeh, and that's the letter hey, and the masculine energy, that's connected to the letter yud, because the letter yud is connected to the world to come. Okay, so now what does it mean that the letter yud is connected to the world to come? So because yud is about machshava, because yud is about thought, it's about preparation. So that the olam haba is the entire thing, that our entire existence is a preparation for the world to come. Okay, so everything we have in this world is. Okay, so this is from the bar mitzvah. No, this is not from God. This is from the. Okay. So, take her advice. It's really good. So the world to come, the existence of the world to come, is really what makes this world into a world of preparation. Okay. I once had an interesting conversation about. I had a friend with this. I was speaking to this friend that he's the atheist, and actually the same friend that I was talking about in class. It was the same. I don't know if it was the same conversation. It was the same evening that we talked about both these things. This atheist friend that I have. What did I talk about in class? What did I say? Yeah. Okay, it doesn't matter. So, but we were talking about life after death, and how I was telling him about how like it's hard for me to imagine not existing, and which is like, I think like it's an important, it's a true idea. I think everybody understands intuitively that like I exist, that like when we die, then we'll still exist. We'll just be dead. That'll be it. But to not exist, to not have a consciousness, is very strange for us to fathom. It's like it makes less sense. It makes less sense. Like also like just because like I have a body, the concept, but even before that, just the concept of non-existing is something which I think that intuitively that it's hard for us to wrap our minds around this concept. And so he said back to me that he thinks that sort of the opposite, that he believes that after you die, that you just don't exist, that there's no consciousness, and that's what makes life so meaningful, because if you would just exist forever, so then like whatever, then like why then what's special about the fact that we're alive now? But if after you die, then you don't exist, so then every moment is really, make the most of it, because it's all you've got. It's all you've got. And but the truth is that he's wrong for two reasons. The truth is he's wrong for two reasons. First of all, that if after we die, if we don't exist, so then actually nothing matters, because you don't have, you don't feel anything. There's no existence. There's no, if I'm going to just make the biggest fool of myself my entire life, but after I die, so then I don't exist. I don't feel anything. So who cares what I did, right? Like I like to say about from Marsha Linehan, that the creator of DBT, that she deals with very serious mental health issues, because a lot of suicidal people come to her, and she says, so she asks these people, why do you want to kill yourself? So she says, because I want the pain to end, right? So she tells them, there's actually no data supporting the fact that the pain actually ends. What? She says it works, she's it makes a lot of sense. It's an easy way out. You think that if you shoot yourself in the head, then you solve your problems. You just made yourself a whole bunch of new problems. It doesn't you have to deal with your issues. You can't just escape your issues. Okay, so first of all, if there wouldn't be that if the suicidal person, he thinks like an atheist. He thinks that after you die, then you don't exist, and there's no consciousness. But the truth is that if there wouldn't be a consciousness, if you wouldn't exist, then nothing would matter at all. Okay. That's point number one. That if you wouldn't be a consciousness, if there wouldn't be a olam haba, then olam hazeh is actually meaningless. Okay. Number two, it's true that we exist after we die. However, only in this world can we do. Only in this world can we accomplish. Okay? And that is the biggest difference between this world and the next world, that the ma'aseh, actions, is only for this world. There's a story about the Vilna Gaon, that before he passed away, so he started crying, and they asked him why he crying, and he said that in this, he was just thinking about the fact that in this world, so for a couple of pennies, you can buy a pair of tzitzis and just do a mitzvah, and after I die, so for all the wealth in the world, I can't do a mitzvah. I can't go anywhere. I can't. I'm stuck. Whatever, after I die, so then whatever spiritual level I reached, that I'm there. I'm the closest you can get is as much as people care about people saying Kaddish for them after they die, but like 1,000 Kaddishim don't come close to one mitzvah that you do in your actual life. This world is the only place that you can actually do stuff. This is the only world. This is the only place that you take some coffee. So coffee. We have coffee too.
I'm good.
Yeah, okay. So this is the only place that you can make a difference, that you can change your reality. Okay. So this world, in relation to Olam Haba, so this is a world of preparation. Okay, and that the fact that this life is a life of preparation, that is what gives it value. Okay. Okay. So this is also connected to to one of the hints of the month of Elul, that it's actually a very interesting thing that in every month we talk about the meaning of the month, the meaning of the name of the month. There's something unique in the month of Elul that it has more than any other month. It has different hints to it. That like you learn in school that Anila Dodi V'Dodi, and it says that Matatnot Lev Yanim Ishla Be'ehu Matatnot Lev Yanim U'Mal Hashem Es Levacha Ves Levav Zarach. Lots of hints, lots of remazim to the month of Elul. Another one of these remazim is brought down from a sefer called Balaturim. Balaturim writes from the author of the Torah. It's a parish on the Chumash called the Balaturim. So he says that there's a custom. We're going to start on Friday. We're going to start on Friday. Some people start on Thursday. That there's an extra parak of Tehillim that we say during the month of Elul. Okay, after davening, after Shacharis, some people say after Mincha, some people say after Mariv. So we say Parak Chav Zayin, chapter 27 in Tehillim, the David Hashem Ari V'Yishi. Okay, and we're going to be saying this from Thursday or Friday until Hoshana Rabbah. So this is going to accompany us from Elul until the middle, almost the end of Sukkot. Okay, so why do we say? Where does it come from? What's the idea of the David Hashem Ari V'Yishi? So it comes from a Chazal. The Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah that the David Hashem Ori, Hashem is my light and he's my salvation. So they say that Ori is Rosh Hashanah, he's my light on Rosh Hashanah, he's my salvation on Yom Kippur. Okay, meaning that he's my light, he enlightens me, he inspires me on Rosh Hashanah, and he saves me by forgiving me on Yom Kippur. And then later in this chapter it says that Hashem also hides me, he saves me, he protects me in his sukkah when there's danger. Okay, so we have a hint to Rosh Hashanah, we have a hint to Sukkot, we have a hint to Yom Kippur, but what about Elul? Why? But we're starting this 30 days before Rosh Hashanah. So why are we starting with Elul? So where's the hint of that? So the Baal Terem writes that the hint to Elul is at the very, very end of the kapitel, at the very end of the chapter of Tehillim, that it says, Lulei hamanti le'ot b'tov Hashem. Lulei hamanti. What do you mean Lulei hamanti? That if not for the fact that I had hope, that things were so bad that everybody was out to get me. Everything was backwards. Everything was upside down. And I would have been completely lost. If not for the fact that I had faith in the goodness of Hashem. Okay? So this pasuk, Lulei Hamanti, so this is a hint to the month of Elul, because the word Lulei is precisely the same letters as Elul. Okay, it's precisely backwards. Okay? Lulei means if not for the fact that I had hope. So what does it mean? What does it mean that Lulei? What does it mean Lulei Hamanti? So the thing is like this: that Elul is the end of the year. Okay, so at the end of the year, so a person has a tendency to give up, to think that it didn't work out. Like things are not the way I was hoping. Right? There's an idea. It says in Parshas I think in Tzavim, it says that Hashem that Tamid, talking about how amazing Eretz Yisrael is. It says Tamid Einei Hashem Elokech ba meBreshit Hashana ve'ad Acharit Shana. So Hashem, the eyes of God are always in the land of Israel from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So the commentary asks that there's a difference. It's not consistent. The pasuk is not consistent. It says from the beginning of Hashana, meBreshit Hashana ad sof Shana, until the end of year. It doesn't say the year. So grammatically, it's not consistent. So the answer, they ask, why is there Mereshus Hashana ad sof Hashana? So they say, they say that this is hinting to the fact that like at the beginning of the year, a person thinks like this is the year. At the beginning of every year, we say like this is this is the year. It's like we're going to make a difference. And then a lot of times, so at the end of the year, so we say it was just a year. It wasn't like I started up with such hopes, and there's a certain despair at the end of the year that like this is that no, and it's good to know that no end of the year is going to live up to your expectations. Now there's a saying that people have a tendency to overestimate how much they can accomplish in a year and underestimate how much they can accomplish in a decade. Ever heard this? That like people like think like this is the year. This is like I'm gonna make every like let's change everything in this year, and like it's not like take shway. Like it's things take time. There's only so much you can do in a year, but you don't realize that if you have patience and if you have like in the difference of 10 years, you can really change the world. And that's like the problem was you wanted to do everything in one day, and like so there's a certain reality of Meresh Hashanah, from the beginning of the year, that there's a certain disappointment, a certain despair at the end of the year. There's a certain built-in despair that like the things didn't go according to our plan, and what saves us? What helps us keep our sanity? What helps us keep excited? That the knowledge that tomorrow is another day. The knowledge that it doesn't matter what is right now, that I still have another opportunity. I still have another chance. And this is the machshava. This is like the planning, that knowing that Elul is all about planning. In other words, that the most basic thing about Elul is that we're planning for the new year. That the way to deal with the despair of the end of the year, the way to deal with this built-in disappointment, the fact that it's the end of the year, dang, like things didn't work. Like I remember being so excited that this is the year. And so how do we solve this? How do we fight against this built-in despair? We fight against this by knowing that, okay, but I'm getting ready for next year. And this is literally the machshava. This planning is the way to deal with the issues of this despair. To know that next year is another year, okay, to understand that it's not that I failed, it's that I didn't get to the end. It's actually very beautiful to reach for the stars. You know that one of my Rebbe once told me that his Rebbe, I have a Rebbe, he's alive. His name is Rav Ari Friedman. He was a student of Yisrael Gustman. Yisrael Gustman was a Rosh Yeshiva. He lived actually not far from here. He lived in Shari Chesed, and he was a Holocaust survivor. He actually joined up with the partisans. Like he during the war, he actually killed Nazis. Like he was very proud of himself his whole life, that he was actually able to kill Nazis. He had a crazy story that he, when he was 18 years old, he was on the Bezdin of the biggest rabbi in the world. His name was Rav Chaim Ozer Grzinski, and he was a judge on the Bezdin of the biggest rabbi alive. Okay, so this Rav Chaim Ozer had so much respect for Rav Gustman that when even though he's only 18 years old, when he would walk into the room, Rav Chaim Ozer would stand up. Okay, and then came the Holocaust, and during the Holocaust, so his wife and children were killed in front of him. In fact, I think that he was even holding a baby, and they shot the baby as he was holding him in his arms. And so he told the student later in life, like when he came to Israel, when he escaped, so he told them that nothing can faze me. Like I've been at the top of the world, I've been at the bottom of the world, so like I've seen it all. Nothing's going to top the feeling of Rav Chaim Ozer standing up for you. Nothing's going to be lower than having the Nazis kill your baby in your arms. So like now I'm like, and I don't think he didn't mean that he's immune. He meant that he's seen it all. Like he's like, and so he once told my Rebbe that when he was once a guest in Rav Chaim Ozer's house for Shabbos. Okay, it's crazy that we have these stories about, like we're talking about like a real story of of what happened in pre-war Europe, like somebody that was a guest in the house of the biggest rabbi in the 1920s. Anyway, so there's a custom many people have that I also have this custom, that to give a blessing to your children Friday night. Okay, so the blessing that you give to children is Yisimcha Elokim K'Ephraim V'Menashe. That I bless you, that you should be like Ephraim and Menashe. So he says that he was once a guest in Rav Chaim Eiser's house, and as Rav Chaim Eiser was blessing his children, so he was thinking out loud, and he said to Rav Grossman that why do I have to bless my children to be like Ephraim and Menashe? I would be so happy. I would be overjoyed if they would be like Rabbi Akiva Eger. Rabbi Akiva Eger, he was one of the biggest rabbis 300 years ago. So like Ephraim and Menashe, they're like whoa, like the children of Yosef. So he's thinking out loud, like, why do I have to give them a blessing to be like? It seems like reaching for the stars. It seems like implausible. So then he answered himself as he's thinking that I guess that if I bless them that they should be like Ephraim and Menashe, then maybe they'll be like Rabbi Akiva Eger. But if I bless them that they'll be like Rabbi Akiva Eger, then they'll be much less than that. Like what's the idea? They're like it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful to reach for the skies, to reach for the stars. We shouldn't the fact that it's awesome to have aspirations which aren't actually plausible, because that's going to bring us to push a little bit harder. Okay, so this is the thought process. This is the mentality that we need to adapt for. We need to adapt every Elul. That it's true. It's good that we were reaching for the stars. It's good that we had these aspirations that we actually weren't able to accomplish, but we made it a little bit closer. We accomplished a little bit, and now is not the time to despair about the fact that we didn't accomplish our goals. Now is the time to plan. Okay? And this is the way that we fight against this despair. And this is what David HaMelech was saying, Lulei Hamanti, that this hope of the future. So, and this is the hint. This is the hint to the month of Elul. So, the Rabbi Nachman has a Torah that in Breslov they have a tradition that this is the Torah of Elul, and this is Torah Vav in the Likutei Moharan, and in the sixth Torah in the Likutei Moharan, so he talks about the essence of Elul, and that the essence of Elul is that it has to do with a Kabbalistic idea. It has to do with a Kabbalistic idea that has to do with the sphere of Keter, the sphere of the very first sphere of when Hashem was creating the world, and it has to do with the name of God called Ekia. Okay, the Aleph Hey Yud Hey, which means that I will be. So there's a certain energy coming down to the month of Elul called Ekia, that I will be. So he quotes from the Zohar that what is Ehyeh? Is Ana Zamin Lemihavi. Ana Zamin, I'm ready, Lemihavi, I'm ready to exist. I'm ready to exist. Okay, so what does this mean? That what happens in Rosh Hashanah? What happens in Rosh Hashanah is the creation. Okay, creation of the world. So if the creation is in the month of Elul, so what's in the month of Tishrei? So what's the month of Elul? The month of Elul is pre-creation. So what exactly is pre-creation? What does it mean to not exist? So Rabbi Nachman says, before you exist, so it's not that you just don't exist. You know what's happening before you exist? You're getting ready to exist. Okay? Before you existed, so you were meditating, very, very strong. I'm really excited to exist. I'm ready. God, it's time. You have any babies that are taking their time, overdue? So it means they're really into their meditation. They're so excited about they're ready to exist. It won't come out. So Anazameli Mihavi, there's like there's a lot of books, the books of meditation in English from Rabbi Kaplan, like Jewish meditation, Kabbalah, whatever. So I don't know if it's true, but there are testimonies that say that he actually died from meditating. That he was like too much in like a higher world, and like his like soul left his body and just like couldn't come back. So like it's like in your pre-existence, in your non-existence, so you have to be careful that you want to come down. So when you're not existing yet, so it's not just you're not existing, it's you're preparing to exist. Okay, you're getting ready to exist, and that's the energy of Elul, is that I'm ready to exist, and this is really connected to the world of tshuva. Okay, how's it connected to the world of tshuva? So, there's like Elul is the month of tshuva, right? Elul is the month of like returning. Okay, but people have to understand how are you supposed to do tshuva. And there's a beautiful Gemara that talks about the letter Hey. We're talking about before the letter Hey, that it says that this world is created with letter Hey. So it says that there's in the structure of letter Hey, so it's like this, right? This is the Dalet and the Yod, and so in the structure of letter Hey, so this is a diagram of this world. So first of all, there's a hole in the bottom. There's a hole in the bottom. Why is there a hole in the bottom? Because if you're not careful, you're going to fall down. Okay, the hole in the bottom represents that if you don't make right decisions, you're going to fall down. Then when you fall down, then you're off the grid. Okay, then it's very bad. And there's a hole over here, right? There's a hole between, like in the Yud of the Hay and the Dalet. There's a hole in the side. So what's that hole for? The bottom hole is to fall down, and what's this hole for? And that's to come back to do tshuva. After you fell, is to do tshuva. Okay, so the Gemara asks that. Okay, but why do you need a different hole? Why can't you just come back the same way that you fell? Right, so the Gemara answers that lo istaya milta. That if you try going back the same way that you fell, you're just going to fall down again. So that's an inappropriate way to do tshuva. Okay, so what does that mean? That the only way to do tshuva is to find a new place to come back. Okay, or in other words, and this is the problem with a lot of people that do tshuva. A lot of people that are trying to improve their ways. A lot of people are trying to facilitate change in their lives. And they say, okay, now I'm really going to be good. I'm not going to get angry. Whenever somebody annoys me, I'm going to say, and I'm not going to shout. I'm not going to, and like that. And they, like, whatever it is that they want to improve about, so like they make a decision, they make a commitment that I'm going to do it, and so sometimes they're able to make changes on the outer layers of the Maaseh. They're able to make changes in that they're able to save themselves from the symptoms of the sin, but at the end of the day, they're just like holding their breath. At the end of the day, it's a walking time bomb. Like it's only a matter of time, because they didn't really heal themselves on the inside. They didn't really rewire their brains to become a different person. So you're still the same person that becomes angry, just you're able to hold yourself back. So what's real tshuva? Real tshuva is that I'm recreating myself. I'm rewiring myself. I'm changing the hardware of the program to become a different person, and that's the only way to really facilitate real change in your life. So this is the way that we do tshuva is anazamin mihavi. That when the returning of the month of Elul, so is not a returning of holding myself back from not doing something, but it really is in a planning of I'm recreating the me. I'm writing a better version of myself in the machshava. Okay, and so this is the essence of the thought process of the month of Elul, is that I'm thinking of a vision of a new me, which is going to exist, and I'm preparing it. Okay, so this is the anazam el mihavi, and the thing is that this is what Rabbi Nachman talks about, is that there's an emotional problem with anazam el mihavi, because you have to really be ready to let go. and that we're so used to our old selves, we're so used to the us that has these tendencies. So to really let go and to really say that I'm ready to become somebody brand new that I've never met before, I've never acted like this before. So it's like it's really, really hard. And like sometimes like you have people that are they're in in extreme case, like you have people that are even like in abusive relationships that they prefer the comfort of the fact that they know, the fact that they're used to it, even though it's pain, even though it's toxic, but they prefer the painful known than the pleasant unknown, which is obviously dumb, right? But it's like we're like our ego is like it's a scary thing to go into the unknown. It's a scary thing. It takes guts, and so to let go of the us, of the I that I know, of the persona that I had, and to drop that, to let go of that, to release that, and to say, okay, I'm going to reprogram a new me, and the people are going to say like, hey, who's that? And like that's going to feel awkward. I don't like when people say who's that. I want people to know who I am. I'd rather be the annoying person than be the who's that person, and which is so tragic. Which is so like a person that it's so basic. It's such a basic thing that to be able to change, to be able to be willing to grow, to be willing to become something new, and that's what Elul is all about. Elul is about this rebirth and this planning to recreate myself, that getting ready for this being something brand new that never came into the world before, this in Tishrei, in Rosh Hashanah, and the only way to get ready for Rosh Hashanah is to prepare this with the machshava. Okay. So this is the tshuva. The tshuva of Elul is this thought process of having a picture of the thought, a machshava of the new us that's going to be in the next year, Tafshin Pei Dalet, okay, to picture the new and improved version of ourselves for Tafshin Pei Dalet, and now is the time that we're planning that, and that's what gives us hope. That's the Lulei Hamanti, okay. So now that's the letter Yud, okay. Now we said that we're also connected, that the month of Elul has a sense, and the sense is the sense of ma'aseh. Okay, ma'aseh is action. Okay, so what does this mean? So it seems like a paradox, right? It seems like on the one hand we're talking about thinking, the thought process, on the other hand we're talking about doing, which seems to be like two opposite things. But the truth is that ma'aseh does not mean doing. Ma'aseh means it's a koach of your soul to be goal-oriented, to be action-oriented. Okay, that's what it means. The tchuna, the sense of ma'aseh, is not the actual action, but actually, a person can actually do a lot of things and not be connected to the sense of action. A person can be a person who does a lot of things, but he's really like, what's his name? The Stipler. The Stipler said that he once saw a crazy thing, that there was a person in the Russian army for 25 years, and the Russian army, they're very, very strict, and every army is very strict, but I think the Russian army is extremely strict, and like you have to make sure that like nothing like your shoes or your boots are shiny, and that every collar is the right way, and all the buttons are the right way, and everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be, and you listen to orders, then exactly everything is precisely to the T, and so he had a person that he'd been waking up at 5 a.m. for the past 25 years without missing a day, because if you miss a day, then you go to jail. So he remembers this guy that like before he went to the army. So like he was like a lazy guy, and like he was like he didn't get moving, and like he was very lackadaisical in everything he did, and he was sure that like once he gets he was sure that like after 25 years in the army, so like now he's gonna be a different person, and he comes back, and like he just goes hanging out by the bars, and he's waking up at 4 p.m, and he's like exactly going back to the way he was 25 years ago. 25 years is a long time. And he thought it was so crazy. This guy for 25 years, he's been doing everything perfectly. How could it be that that now he's like that now that it didn't change him. So the reason is because it's very possible for a person to do everything right and not be connected to the tchuna, not to be connected to the sense, to the quality of action. Okay, and that's what's a see, I'll tell you. So a person can really be that it's two different things. So the sense, the koch hanefesh, the place that the soul is connected to ma'aseh, is actually in your thought process. Okay, and that's what this is, and that's what Elul is all about thought, which is by definition leading to an action. Now, this has a number of different elements for us, like for us to take with us in the month of Elul. Okay, number one, that there's an idea that sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. And we say this in the Chadaydi, that the very end of the action is b'machshava tchila, is the first thing I think about. Okay, meaning that in the planning process. So the only way to have a good planning is if I have a very very clear vision of where I want to go. Okay, if I don't know, that's why like if I don't know what it's going to look at, what is my goal for 5 years from now, so it's very hard to start acting now. Okay, so that's what it says. The Shabbos was Hashem's final destination. So Hashem from the very beginning of day one, he was thinking about Shabbos. Okay, this is where the idea comes from, that to start preparing for Shabbos already from the beginning of the week. Okay, so there's something about the sof ma'aseh that actually brings that from the very beginning of the planning, that you need to know exactly where you're going. This is the idea of a vision board. Okay, the vision board, like to have goals where I would like to be, and to always have these my sof ma'aseh, to have the end goals, to have them in my consciousness. That the more that my end goal is in my consciousness, that the more it's going to happen. Now, there's another point in this sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, in the vision, and that is also in the word asiyah. So the word asiyah has another connotation in Hebrew. It says in Parshas Mishpatim, it says not in Parshas Kitetze, that it says that the v'astat tziporneha, it talks about this Yifas Torah, that it says that she should do her nails. Okay, what does it mean to do her nails? So it means to make them to make the finishing touches, to make them ready. Okay, meaning that to do something doesn't just mean to do it. To do it means to finish it. Okay, like meaning that there's something about asiyah that has a connotation of the finishing touches, about the details. Okay, and this is also very relevant in vision boards. That if you have a certain vision of where you want to get, of how you want this company to look, of how you want this school to look, how you want this paper to look, how you want this whatever, this program to look, so that as more detailed as your vision is, the more likely it is to happen. Okay, the more that you leave it up in the air, the more likely it is that it's actually going to stay vague and stay actually not actually going to happen. And the more precise your vision is, the more likely it is that it's going to actually actualize. The more likely it is that you're actually going to do it. So the asiyah of Chodesh Elul is very connected to being oriented to the details. Okay, so this is obviously like part of what we're trying to do tshuva. Part of what when we're trying to assess ourselves, when we're trying to make at the end of the year. So we're trying to figure out where am I holding, am I where I'm supposed to be? So it's a little bit necessary to start being a little bit detail oriented, to think that I'm generally it's also important to think in general. Am I b'chlal in the wrong page? Am I b'chlal going in the wrong direction? And besides being in the wrong, even if I'm in the right direction, maybe I could be doing things a little bit better. Maybe even the things that I'm doing right, so I could be doing them a little bit better. Maybe I'm rounding corners. Maybe if I could be doing them a little bit A++, and I'm allowing myself to do things in a mediocre way. So part of the end of the year assessment of Elul is necessarily being detail-oriented, and that's also one of the ideas of ma'aseh, of meaning the finishing touches. And the third point of asiyah, which is really another. It's also connected to tshuva. It's also connected to the fixing of Elul, is that to understand the power of thought, the power of machshava, that the Rambam writes that how does tshuva work? How does it actually work that I killed somebody and I do tshuva? So now Hashem says, it's okay, I forgive you. Right? So that doesn't make sense, right? He's still dead. Right? I can be sorry from today to tomorrow, but he's still dead. So how does tshuva work? So the Messiah Yesharim makes, right? That it's an amazing kindness that Hashem does to us. That akirat haratzon ke akirat ha'maaseh. That to uproot the desire, Hashem looks at it as if you uprooted the action. Meaning that when I'm saying that I wish I hadn't done that, in a real way, that I really feel bad about what happened. So God looks at the fact that I wish that I hadn't done it as if I didn't do it. Or in other words, that I'm able to look back at my action. So in my action there was two things. I was doing something, and as I was doing it, I had the intention to do it. So I'm looking back at my action with the intention, and I'm uprooting my intent. And I'm saying that intention that I wanted to do it, I didn't want to do it. That was wrong. That wasn't me. And by saying that wasn't me, by saying that my intent wasn't there, so that uproots the act. It's as if I didn't do it. It's as if I wasn't present. As if the action didn't happen. That's amazing kindness that Hashem does to us. So this is something that should inspire all of the machshava, all of the planning, all of the hope that we have for the next year. So that how can we have how much hope in our, just because, how can we have just satisfaction in the fact that we have hopes? How can we have satisfaction in the fact that we have plans? It's because that the machshava is like a ma'aseh, that having this, the tshuva is based on this idea that if the intent isn't there, then the action isn't there. If the intent is there, then the action is there. Okay? So we're actually creating with our thoughts, and all of the thought that we're going to have over the month of Elul, and creating our better self. So we're actually making a new us. We're bringing down our new persona of Tavshin Peidal. Yeah.
So just going back to what you said about being detail oriented and your goals, I just feel like if you are so detailed, I hear about on podcasts, you're very specific about your future self, it kind of doesn't leave space for God in a sense of you don't know how things will go, or how you get to the end goal, and saying step by step, or how exactly the end goal is, don't you think it closes up a little bit of emunah, and Hashem can take care of it and you don't have to know how?
Well, it's a good point. It could take away your emunah if you don't allow for surprises, if you are intent on having it your way. Okay. The fact that things can't go your way, things might not go your way, doesn't mean that you shouldn't plan with details.
Plan with the intention that things will go your way?
Plan with having a vision, having a detailed vision. Okay. And the knowledge, there's a when I teach about dating, so I say that there's the two most important things you have to know about marriage. The first of all, rule number one, he won't change. Okay, that anybody who's going to say it's okay, he told me he's going to work on that. He told me that he's as soon as we get married that he's going to change that. He's going to stop smoking. He's going to stop doing. He's going to whatever. It's all garbage. Okay? Rule number one is, if you don't like him the way he is, don't marry him, because he will not change. Okay. Rule number two, he will change. Be ready for change. Just be prepared that that like a week after you get married, you're going to say, this is not the guy I married. and it doesn't matter that he's not the guy you married. You still have to accept him. You still have to be committed to him. And love is about change. Love is about like evolving, right? So like it's like it's not a contradiction. And so on the one hand, it's critical if you want your plans to actually be manifested. So you have to have details. You can't like have an idea of that I'm going to have this particular car, and like, okay, if that particular car isn't available, so then you'll get then you got the other car, right? But if you don't have a plan of I'm going to get this car, then you're not going to start thinking, well, how much money do I need for this car, and where do I get this car, and nothing's going to happen. So once you have the actual detailed plan of how I'm going to get this car, so then it could be that Hashem had a different plan, and they're actually out of that car, and you're actually going to get a different car. But you wouldn't have gotten there if you wouldn't have had a detailed plan.
I hear that.
Okay. So this is the Maisa. This is the Maisa, and okay. So now this is very relevant. This is very relevant to all of our Virgos. What do we know about Virgos? Well, Virgos are known to be perfectionists. They're very detail oriented. They're very like even to a detriment. They're like their things need to be exactly perfectly the way that they should be. They're very analytical. They're very connected to machshava in general. Like it's very like that's they also have the detail orientedness of maaseh, of like the tchuna of maaseh, being to the finishing details. They also are very connected to the world of thought, that in the fact that they're analytical, and they also have a tendency to jump to conclusions. Okay, and they sometimes they're thinking too much, like they're assessing too much, and this is a downside of this machshava. They're very, very nurturing. They're very, very caring. They're people that will totally they're always helping the people around them, and like whatever people need, like to the point that sometimes they forget about themselves because they're so into helping other people. And this is totally an expression of the like sof masav machshava tchila, that they know how to help other people in and using their thought process in order to actually make a ma'aseh, to make a difference in these people's lives. Okay, so this is the character traits of the Virgos. It's really connected to the energies of the month of Elul, both in the machshava of Yud and in the ma'aseh, in the tchuna of ma'aseh. Now, the tribe that's connected to the month of Elul is the tribe of Gad. Now, so what do we know about the tribe of Gad? We really don't know so much. He's not very spoken about. But we do know about the word God, that the shoresh gimel dalid. So it's a root in Hebrew. That if we look at different words that have the gimel dalid, we can get a picture of what God has to do. So there's a word in the army, gedud. Anybody knows what gedud is? A battalion. Okay. Aguda. An aguda is an organization. Okay. A gid is like gid hanasha is a sinew. Okay, it's the part of us which connects. So what's the common denomination between all these things? The God is about connecting. God is all about connecting. So a gedud is a bunch of people. Like a aguda is an organization. Like you come together to do something, right? And the sinew is the things that connect the parts of your body. So there's another word gimel daled, and that's gadol. Gadol is an adult. Okay. Why is an adult a gadol? Why is an adult a person who's connecting? Because one of the basic things about becoming an adult is that you're able to see the reactions. You see the what comes out of your actions. Okay, the consequences. Thank you. That the only an adult is able to have responsibility for his actions, because a kid doesn't understand what comes out of his actions. Okay, I was having fun, so I broke your phone. But so what? Isn't it nice? Doesn't it look nice that it's broken? He doesn't think about the fact that now you won't be able to do it to whatever. So a gadol is a person who's able to have a bird's eye view, is able to look at a bigger view on life, because he's mature, because he has this better sensitivity to life. So that's the energy of God, is connecting. Okay, connecting is being able to connect the dots, to be able to see how things work together. Now, the one personality in Tanakh that's from the tribe of God is Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi. So it says that Eliyahu Hanavi is from what? Oh, we don't know. So he says he's from, because we know the God, part of their inheritance, the land of Israel, is in Gilad, and Eliyahu is Eliyahu Ha-Giladi. Okay, so we know that Eliyahu is from God. Now, one of the jobs of Eliyahu Hanavi, we know Eliyahu Hanavi. So his job is to come before Mashiach. He has two jobs. First of all, he's the one who is to tell us about Mashiach. He's the one that's going to get us excited that, don't worry, Mashiach is on the way. And number two, his job is to bring together the Jewish people. Okay, he's going to be this prophet that the Rambam writes. He's going to help us do tshuva, and he's going to unite the Jewish people in preparation for Mashiach. Okay, so he has this duality that on the one hand, he's the one connecting, he's the one bringing down in the ma'aseh, he's the one bringing the people together, and on the other hand, he's bringing us together with the hope of a better future. Okay, so he's mamish he mamish personifies the idea of Elul, that through the knowledge that there's a better future, through the knowledge that hey, Mashiach is actually coming, that there's an olam haba. So through that knowledge, I'm able to really get my act together, to get together, to overcome our differences and really unify, which is really the ultimate ma'aseh, which is the ultimate fixing of this world. So this is what Elul is all about. It's all about is about how to fix ourselves, how to assess ourselves, how to do tshuva, also to fix ourselves in the details and actually to reprogram ourselves, but that the way to do tshuva is not just to try to become better people. It's to reinvent ourselves. It's to recreate ourselves with the machshava of that Tafshin Pei Daled version of ourselves is going to be a bigger and better. It's something that we never knew before, something that we never even recognized. So I want to finish off with an idea from the Bnei Yissaschar, that he writes that these 40 days from Rosh Chodesh Elul until Yom Kippur, so this is corresponding to the 40 sa'ah of a mikvah. Okay, that just like it takes the mikvah to purify somebody, so it takes 40 sa'ah. So there's 40 days from Elul to Yom Kippur is like a big mikvah. It's a mikvah of time. Okay, we're entering this mikvah of time. So I want to take this metaphor a step further, based on how the commentaries explain how a mikvah works. Okay, that what's the idea of a mikvah? Okay, what should we be thinking when we go to the mikvah? Every time you go to the beach, and it's so hot, you need to go to the beach, and the ocean is considered a mikvah. So when you're under the water, so how does the mikvah purify you? So the commentators explain like this: that really when you're going under the water, so you're really going underground. You're really you're not part of the world. You can divide the world into two parts, into above ground and below ground. Okay? Most of life takes place above ground. Okay? But So if you want to, what if you want to like start again? What if you want to, like, like they say, like the seed, when it can't start sprouting until it completely rots, right? So if you want to start regrowing, so you have to bury yourself and just come back from the dead, right? So if you just bury yourself, then you're going to die, right? So you can't kill yourself. So what's the closest thing that you can do? How can you make yourself underground? By going to a mikveh. Okay, by going to the mikveh, so you become part of the underground. You become not present in this world. You're completely under, like, you're not there. You're in a different world. You're under. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. You're in a different world. You're in a different existence. And so, by being in this underground existence, so you've actually exited the physical existence. Okay, you're in a better world. Okay, and then, but what's the secret? So the Rambam says a very fascinating thing. You actually don't become pure from the mikvah when you're underground. You only become pure from the mikvah when you get out of the mikvah. Meaning that don't get too comfortable. don't think it's so nice to be underground that you're actually not pure until you actually get out of the mikvah. And that taking a step out of the mikvah, that being able to rejuvenate, to be able to go into this place of non-existence, to say that right now I don't exist. I'm in this non-existent, I'm pre-existent state, but I'm so excited that in a couple of days I'm going to exist. And this is really what Elul is all about. Elul is all about that to prepare ourselves for the existence of Tavshin Pei Dalet, with the understanding that well, if I'm going to be something brand new, then I have to really shed my old self. I have to be able to really release, to really let go. And right now I'm in a state of non-existence, and that's scary to not exist. Okay, but I'm able to remain sane with my state of non-existence, with the knowledge that I'm going to exist in an even bigger and better way. So this is really what Elul is all about. That to be able to have a real hope of a better tomorrow, and through that hope of a better tomorrow, I'm ready to really make real changes and to really change my hardware of my entire system. B'ezrat Hashem. Okay, l'chaim everybody.